Thank you for stopping by the Inside Deschutes County podcast. Wherever you might be and however you might be listening, we appreciate you making us a small part of your day. We hope you click those subscribe and download buttons, and be sure to catch us wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also find us on deschutes.org/podcast.
Deschutes County is an amazing place to live,
Ease of access,
work, and play.
Great place to raise a family.
I love the weather and the high desert.
At Deschutes County, we provide excellent service.
Beautiful.
We're here to help you.
Deschutes County is the heart of Oregon.
Everyone wants to be here.
This is episode 24 of the Inside Deschutes County podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Eric Breon. This is a place where we talk to the people who do the big work at Deschutes County. We get to know them a bit, find out what's happening in their world. We'll probably talk about some of the things that they're working on because we kind of have to do that. And we know it's not just Central Oregon listening. Portland, Salem, Eugene, I'm talking to you. We know that you're listening, so thank you. Seattle, talking to you as well. Thank you for listening. We appreciate everyone outside Deschutes County. We know you come to visit. We appreciate you guys listening as well. My guests today, two super important people. One of them is a repeat guest. I'd go so far as to say he's a friend of the program. Chris Doty, the road department director at Deschutes County. Not a friend?
I'm a big friend. Until you said Eugene is listening.
Oh, well, yeah.
And then now we got problems.
I know. Well,
okay. We'll talk about that after the show.
We could talk about those things.
Okay.
We have not one but two guests today. He's here for the first time. Let me see if I get his title right, because it's always about the titles. They always throw me. Senior Transportation Planner from Community Development. Tarik Rawlings is here.
You got it. Yeah, thank you.
Did I nail it?
Yeah, that's the right title.
Wow. Okay. Usually I mess those up and we start over because it's me bumbling over the title. Thanks for joining us, guys. Really appreciate it. What's going on?
It's a beautiful day. Can we do this outside?
You're right.
Yeah.
I'd love to. Nice day. Is it the fake spring, though? I'm wondering.
A little bit. I mean, we got to have a kind of a rough spring break weather period,
so we're
just to keep everybody honest, the tourists a little more honest. But but after that, all bets are off. Let's go.
So we're recording this March 20th.
Yes.
It's 60s today. Mm-hmm. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Golf? You got golf?
I've been out twice this year.
Okay.
Yeah. Caught a few nice days. Early swing issues. But we got all summer to work those out.
You going right or are you going left? You shanking? You hooking? What's
I hit a lot of topspin lobs. That's a tennis term, but that's also what happens to my drive lately.
We talked tennis on the last podcast. We had a lot of tennis with Commissioner Adair.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't like pickleball. Found that out.
I imagine not. It's noisy.
Yeah, it's really loud. The balls are really loud. Golf? You golf?
I've never golfed before, yeah.
I mean, your last name is Rawlings.
Right. Sporty.
That's kind of a baseball name.
It is. That's what I tell if they want to know the spelling. I say it's like the baseball glove. But no, I don't. Yeah, I'm not.
Did like your great grandfather
I wish.
Whatever
you're about to end that sentence with, I really wish that was the reality. But
it's not.
No empire to tap into. But yeah, there's. I don't have so my family have very limited ties to America, so I do not have any familial Rawlingses or anything in the country. But it's I
probably got a Rawlings in my closet somewhere.
Yeah. It's very helpful for when I give my name to people, so I use that all the time. But
there you go.
I'm sure he'll autograph it for you.
Does it work for Doty's? Are there some Doty's in the? No, there's no baseball.
It's more of a prison name. Yeah, it's.
I don't know if I want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, we're on the other side of the spectrum, generally speaking. But good for you, Tarik.
Yeah, they appreciate it.
Last time you were here, you were sporting a big beard.
That's right.
You were going to go hunting.
Yeah, Elk Team 6 was one for 4.
Which sounds like some sort of SEAL team, on some deep mission.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Okay.
But I'd love to, lay that one down.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Okay.
And so would your listeners.
Probably.
Yeah.
You were going to Eastern Oregon or something like that.
Yeah. Had a great time.
Good. Successful. I mean,
When one gets one, we all get
Yeah.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's not your forte.
I grew up in Montana, so I was
Oh.
like kind of forced to hunt with like to help out a bunch of times, but it was I never enjoyed it, I would say, but I had to carry a lot of dead animals.
I'm on Team
and
Rawlings
things.
with
Yeah.
that. I'm just not a big hunter. I want to represent both sides.
Okay.
Hunting can be a little controversial, so we'll keep that out of the
What?
Yeah. I'm fine with
It's
it.
it's your Eugene listeners that you're
All
offending
right.
here.
Let's go.
I'd be a good helping hand next time you need to quarter something out of the woods.
I'll keep that in
All
mind.
right. Well, I brought you on together because you guys have both been probably joined at the hip, maybe a little, on a big project.
I would say on the Microsoft Teams, we've been joined. Yeah.
A lot of the Teams calls.
Yeah.
A handful.
Technological hips have been joined.
Okay. Technological hips. That's a good one. I'm going to borrow that. It's called the TSP. For our listeners at home and in Eugene, Medford, Klamath Falls.
Okay.
Pendleton, maybe.
Spreading it out.
Just Pendleton. Yeah. The Transportation System Plan.
Right.
That's what you guys been working on.
That's right.
There's news
Yeah.
on that today.
Yes. About a couple hours
Today
ago,
is
the board
March
gavelled.
20th, because this will probably come out a little later.
Right.
What's the big news?
Yeah, so today, March 20th, we had the second reading of the ordinance that would capture the board's approval of a slightly amended version of what our first draft version of the transportation system plan was. And so that's the final reading, really the final review of the board. And so they've, when they approved second reading, as they did today, they also made a motion to adopt that ordinance that includes the approved transportation system plan. And when they adopted that, that's really like the last formal direction given by the board. And then there's a 90-day period until it becomes effective. And so by June 18th, that's 90 days after today, that plan becomes effective. So that's really the only other end of this timeline there. And yeah, that's the culmination of almost 2 years worth of work. So
That's kind of breaking news. That's big news.
yeah, it felt like a lot.
See, it's the end of his, major involvement. It's the beginning of ours because it turns from a planning process, okay, where we kind of go through and we establish the goals and policy for the county's transportation system set by the board, and then accompanying that is
Now you got to do the work.
now it's a 20-year project list.
Well, I was going to
that we'll
ask that,
be-
Chris,
that we're
because
working on.
Yeah, what is this? I mean, in terms of you've been creating this big plan
With a ton of help. It's not
with a
just
ton of
me,
help. It's
but
not just
yeah.
you, although you are the senior transportation. But maybe give us a high-level explanation of what the TSP is.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, so there's a planning sense, and then there's sort of on-the-ground projects that we're planning for with this exercise. So this is it's kind of any other comprehensive document or process for different jurisdictions. They usually run on about a 10-year cycle for these sort of large-scale visionary documents. So this one, there's probably the biggest, most famous comprehensive long-term visionary document in Oregon is a jurisdiction's comprehensive plan. And that's really everything. That's water and wildlife and kind of every consideration very broadly, a very high level. What goals and policies are we going to put in place to sort of accomplish this? This is similar, but just totally related to transportation. So it's very high level goals and policies about what the county envisions for the next 20-year period. So this was directed towards 2020 to 2040. In 10 years, we'll probably do another update that'll be 2030 to 2050. So things like that, that's what we're looking at for that big, wide-ranging 20-year period. And so we think very short term, what are some really, really immediate needs that are sometimes emergency or safety based in their needs. And then there's way further out, there's conceptual connections, things that don't have designs or locations. But are included in this big visionary document saying, hey, county, this is what we basically picture for the next 20 years, both in terms of sort of high-level vision and general ideas, but also we have really specific capital improvement projects that have a price tag on them. It follows a budgetary framework and review, and then really what my job was mostly to do was to craft a public process or follow a lot of, we had a consultant involved, and so a lot of the consultant's initial public process, which was we held a series of virtual in-person open houses, different public events, things like that to get
input, right?
Yeah,
because
public input, yeah.
This isn't Tarik's.
No, this is
I
the
mean, I'm
county's,
sure you're a
yeah.
visionary,
No, I appreciate that.
but this is not Tarek's plan for Deschutes County,
Yeah.
right? You got.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure you've weighed in on things, but
No,
but this.
I've really
No?
not
really.
really. I mean,
Okay.
there's some technical expertise, but that's mostly from the engineering staff and things on what is the the best alignment or best design of a
But the
project.
public input, right, is the
Right.
key aspect, which you were starting to talk about.
Absolutely, yeah. So we got for this one, I think we set a record for the most comments received on a single file type, and so that we had something like almost 400 comments related just to the
It's a few.
TSP, yeah. And they were all received usually in pretty tight windows, usually 2 to 4 week periods where we were putting out for public notice and asking for these comments. We were really pretty fortunate, I think, to get the majority of concerned comments were related to and literally to multi-use pathways. That was a topic that really grabbed a lot of attention from the public input side of things, as well as some agency input. We had ODOT.
Explain to.
Sure, a multi-use pathway
what that
is
might be.
basically a trail, but it seems different than maybe a dirt single-track trail in that these are often paved, pretty wide pathways. Think about like Sun River, those paved bike pathways that
So
kind of
pedestrian, bicycle.
right multi-use
Okay, gotcha.
incorporates kind of all those alternative transportation modes. So we really tried. Our goal was to run a really exhaustive public process, get all the input we possibly could, and then present that at first to the Planning Commission and then to the Board of County Commissioners. We got their thoughts from both of those hearings bodies, and then eventually we took the board's final say and packaged that into an amended
And here we go.
transportation system plan. And then exactly once that's adopted, it really moves into like machines on the ground and actual work
Pressure's
being
on,
done.
Chris.
That's right. Yeah. No, I mean, we're
Let's
excited.
go, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a long process. We're glad the planning piece is over, just because you got to do that,
Well, because
right?
planning stinks. Who wants
Yeah.
that in their title? Come on. I'm just kidding.
But now that it's a live document.
Yeah.
It's a 20-year project list, and it has various priorities for different types of projects.
Okay, so let's break those down a little
Yeah,
bit.
you
So
bet.
I'm sure that there was a lot of planning, broken down by probably specific investments. So what are the areas of investment?
Yeah, great question. So I mean the CIP portion of the TSP, a lot of alphabet soup here. So the capital improvement plan contains projects relating to intersection changes. So if we're going to add a roundabout or intersection needs a roundabout to deal with a safety or capacity issue, it's going to be identified in the TSP as an intersection change project. There's roadway changes. So do we need to widen, add bike lanes to various, high volume type corridors? That's a roadway change project. Additionally, there's a county share of ODOT intersections. So where County Road intersects State Highway, and there's future planned improvements there. Deschutes County is going to make a contribution in partnership with ODOT, to deliver whatever project that is. And a good example of that is just the work that was finished in Tumalo here recently with the roundabout at O.B. Riley and Cook Avenue. Work that's about to begin in Terrebonne here later this summer for the interchange at Lower Bridgeway. Those are county projects on the ODOT system. So we're contributing cash, but we're not necessarily delivering those projects. Additionally, there's pedestrian facilities. And of course, in the rural area, there's not a big pedestrian network per se.
What's a pedestrian facility?
It's a sidewalk
Come on.
or a multi-use path. We like to color it up, right?
Pedestrian facility. It's a freaking sidewalk, Chris.
It's a place for
Come on.
pedestrians to stand and walk.
Okay.
And so where we're going to see those are going to be in like the unincorporated
See, that's where my
communities.
job comes in, to break it down for the people.
Thanks for keeping me honest there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do what I can.
So adding sidewalks in Tumalo and Terrebonne where they're needed. Not every road,
Sure.
Gets a sidewalk, but in and around schools, business areas, things like that. Pedestrian facilities.
I think
we call them.
like you're building a like you got a building with a bunch of pedestrians just like walking right on through.
Yeah, it's how we validate ourselves. They sound more important when you give them fancy names.
Okay.
Bridges. Do you understand what a bridge is?
I do know what a bridge is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Boy, I see where this is going quickly.
So, county has 57, 58 bridges in our inventory.
There's that many?
That's actually not a lot.
So
for
wait
a
a minute,
county.
you said how many bridges?
57 or 58.
Okay,
yeah,
right in that
depending
ballpark.
on the day.
And bridges are a big topic of concern
Absolutely.
across the country because they need improvements.
Yeah,
and
we have
earthquake retrofitting and all that kind of stuff.
Have an aging infrastructure.
Yeah.
A lot of bridges were built, 50 plus years ago that are aging out at this point. Our system's in pretty decent shape with regards to the condition of our bridges. But
And those are just county bridges?
those are just the county bridges on our system that we're responsible for. And so the capital improvement plan will identify certain bridges that are coming up, over the next 20 years for replacement or major maintenance. And then finally, the last category of projects is what we call Federal Land Access Program projects, or FLAP for short. And that's kind of a special funding category where the federal government has a program that funds projects where county roads or other facilities, I said facilities again, other roads provide access to federal land, primarily for recreation. And so in acknowledgement of that, the federal government, because you're providing access to federal lands, will fund certain types of projects, that provide that level of access. So
the biggest part of this plan, though, has to be roads, right? I mean, is that where the majority
absolutely.
of the emphasis is?
Yeah, bike ped, pretty small portions that together. Bridges also not too bad. It's intersections and then road modernization.
So what kind of money are we talking about, and where does the money come from?
Yeah, great question. So there's $190 million of county contribution identified in the capital improvement plan. And it comes from a variety of sources. Primarily, we're funded through the State Highway Fund and the allocation that counties get from that. And the State Highway Fund is your gas tax, the fuel tax you pay at the pump. It's the weight mile tax, which is what the freight community pays, their share, so to speak. And then DMV fees, so your registration fee, license fee, things like that. All that funding is brought into a big pool. The state, ODOT, gets a big piece of that. Counties and cities get a smaller share of that. And that's primarily what funds our entire program mostly, in Deschutes County Road Department. We like to fund everything kind of from a trickle-down perspective. Our first priority is going to be maintaining that system. We want to make sure that that investment has been previously made.
Keeping the good roads good.
Yeah, you've done this before. Are you seeing another road official?
I'm stepping out on you a little bit.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
No, I've heard that before. I've heard that phrase.
Yeah, well, that is
a very
phrase.
catchy
Keep your good
phrase.
roads good. So, yeah, absolutely. We want to make sure that
Tarik, just inside joke, he says that.
Yeah,
a lot.
It seems like it.
So we're going to want to maintain that prior investment and make sure that what the public's invested in over the years is maintained to a quality standard. After that is operations. So that's how we react to things that happen on the system, from snow and ice response to responding to incidents, things like that. So we're going to fund that first with the money that we get. What trickles down after that, we're going to invest in the capital improvement plan. And so we're in a fortunate position here in Deschutes County where we've had resources pile up in our CIP program. We've been able to deliver projects, and that's primarily how we fund it with state highway fund revenue, additional revenue sources. We get a little bit of funding from the federal government in the form of Secure Rural Schools funding, which is basically an offset for just given the fact that so much land in Deschutes County is federally owned, untaxable. And so the feds acknowledge that, hey, we need to, pay local government a little bit extra, for that. And then payment in lieu of taxes is another federal program that the road department gets a small portion of. System development charges, is another funding source to fund capital and improvement projects. Those are fees that are charged to developers that basically pay for growth share of the system investment that's being made, so that people that live here don't necessarily have to pay more to accommodate growth. as growth comes in, they're going to pay, a small portion of funding to help fund, some of the capital investment in this TSP. And then after that, it's grants, state and federal grants that
They come in handy.
Certain projects qualify for, others don't. But we'll tap into various grant funding programs where we have eligible projects.
So I'm curious, and I'm not sure if this is more a Tarik question or more a Chris question, but I'm assuming it's both. But how do you determine what's going to get worked on at what time?
Yeah.
So like the pedestrian facility, does that get how do you figure out the priority? Is it based on what the planning was, or is it based upon how the money comes in? So I'm just kind of curious how that process works.
Yeah, great question.
In terms of like, okay, well, that bridge is looking pretty bad. We're going to do that first, or we're going to go do this walkway.
Yeah.
How do you figure out the priorities?
Yeah, so it all starts, with the transportation system plan. It's kind of that overarching document, and as it's updated, we've got this fresh new CIP, and it has prioritizations based on high, medium, and low. High priority is something that we want to get to in the next 5 years. Medium is that 5 to 10 year period. Low is the 10 to 20 year period. So it starts there. After that, it's a matter of...
And who determined that, Chris?
Yeah.
Not to step on you, but was that based on the public input or based on engineers and kind of what those teams calls that you guys had?
Right.
I think it's and Chris can jump in if I'm wrong, but I think it's mostly a combination of several of those factors that I've noticed. There's different sections also for various projects in the TSP, and they each have their own priority system. And so I would say, for example, there was a series of multi-use pathway proposed connections, and actually one of the only amendments put forward by the board was to remove that priority status. So one was not relatively higher in priority or lower than the other. But for each of those kind of breakout sections, they do have, so those priorities before they were removed were received by our Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee as sort of public, but more of a formal public form of input there. But then, I think a lot of even just other amendments, things like the ODOT projects that are listed, some of those were adjusted. They had their priority status adjusted by the board, just based, again, off just general public input that came in, asking for either a heightened priority or a lower one. But.
Yeah. So after the TSP project or process and that initial, hierarchy is established or prioritization, we actually take a 5-year CIP to the board annually. So what we plan on doing in the next 5 years is, and that's part of the annual budget process, where we update that annually, a 5-year look ahead. Then, the actual priority itself is set at the budget process in terms of the budget committee, Board of County Commissioners actually identifying and obligating resources to invest. So it starts at that 30,000-foot level with the TSP and CIP process that we just finished today. And then kind of boils down
March
to
20th.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 2024.
2024.
And then boils down to the budget process, and we get that obligation. Then we deliver the work.
So what's first?
Well, it's ongoing, right? So we're continuing to deliver projects as we speak, and we've got a couple things right now that are in the hopper. Things that we're working on or will soon be, like the Powell Butte Highway Butler Market Road roundabout. That project's about to start here in a couple weeks. So that was a project on the...
And that's part of this?
That's a part of this plan. So the plan is it's living, it's moving.
Gotcha.
And so we still have a lot of projects from the old plan that are moving forward into this. So that was one of them. Of course, Hunnell Road, we've been working on that for, a little over a year now. That's part of the continuing highly prioritized first phase. Several bridge replacements that are underway right now. Smith Rock Way Bridge is being replaced. Gribbling Road's about to open up. So those are the projects that are kind of being worked on right now or just about to be completed. Tumalo Road from O.B. Riley to Sizemore, just outside of Tumalo, is a project that's in the design phase, and that's one of those road segment modernization type projects. We got a relatively old narrow road that needs to be widened. Pavement needs to be, conditions need to be addressed. So we're taking that from pretty minimal widths to actually adding bike lanes to it, and that is a part of the county's bike lane consideration that was a part of the TSP as well. Lower Bridge and 43rd Street, just west of Terrebonne, is another project that we're actually out for public input right now. Lower Bridge and 43rd is kind of the gateway to Crooked River Ranch. And that intersection
Design concept. So I think you're looking for, right?
So right on our website right now, the public can weigh in on various options that have been presented and provide their feedback that we can then use to select the final project and move that forward. Then finally, one that the public will start to hear about here in a few months. It's a series of roundabout projects that we're going to be doing in the Sun River, kind of Three Rivers area off South Century Drive. So a roundabout at the intersection with Venture Lane, which is the Sun River Business Park, intersection with Spring River Road, kind of just east of the bridge everyone likes to boat at, and then down at Huntington Road, so where South Century kind of turns and heads towards the mountains. So 3 roundabouts in that area, a variety of different impacts. That's a tight community right there and some unique challenges. And so we'll have a pretty robust type public process down there for folks to weigh in on options and configurations as well, because there's going to be a lot of impact.
Lots going on.
Yeah.
Lots going on. So I imagine you're working with contractors, you're working with the state, maybe these cities. This is not just, some of these are pretty involved, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this isn't a plan that just is exclusive to the county. Certainly, the relationship we have with ODOT has been on display with a whole host of different projects over the past several years. The interchange work in Terrebonne, that's about to start. We talked about the roundabout in Tumalo. We also contributed to the roundabout that's under construction right now in Sisters at Locust and US 20. That's an ODOT project, City of Sisters project, the Deschutes County project, where individually, if anyone tried to do it by themselves, we couldn't muster the resources. With partnership and primarily with the state, when they have local partners like the county and city contributing, it makes it much easier for them to invest as well. And so that's how we've been pretty successful in making these big improvements that we've seen in our county in the last handful of years.
Big plan.
It's a
big plan. This is a big plan.
I think
there's a lot going out to 2040-ish, right?
That's about as long as those visionary documents plan for, I would say, a 20-year period. So,
yeah.
So basically, what you're telling me is that Tarik did all the work, and now you're just.
Yeah, it's well, you're about to start a planners versus engineers thing.
Exactly.
I don't think we're going to let you do that.
I would like my own planner. Can we get a communications senior
I do
planner?
just personal assistant work too. Yeah, exactly.
I would like to skip the public input part of it, though, if they were going to plan out communications. But anyway, we won't get into all that. But lots of work here. Lots of heavy lifting, literally.
Yeah, like I said, it's a $190 million just county investment. Doesn't include what ODOT, will expect to deliver on some of these projects. Federal, the biggest project in the whole plan is a new interchange on 97 south of Deschutes River Woods that would provide connectivity to Deschutes River Woods from the south, would also provide connectivity to High Desert Museum on the east side. That's a $50 million project that's going to involve state resources, federal resources, private entities with the museum there. It's going to have to involve a big process with Deschutes River Woods and that community to select, how it's going to actually provide that connectivity to that area. You have,
a lot of people there.
Yeah, that project, the Nexus, boy, do we need better access for emergency purposes and evacuations on the south end of that community. So, that's probably the big project that's new, that's really worth talking about in the plan. And so, I think
we'll just bring you back.
That'll be great
to talk about it. Yeah, I can see the excitement in that. All jokes aside, where can people find out about the progress of these? Is there a website, where they can see your plan, Tarik? And Chris, is that updated with your work?
Yeah.
So for the planning part we just got to sort of a somewhat finished point of that. It's that's contained in a project-specific website that's on the Community Development Department's homepage under the Community Engagement Center. There's a drop-down menu that includes a bunch of different public hearing-facing projects. This would be under the Board of County Commissioners hearing drop-down menu, and that website basically has an overall summary of what the TSP is, what's being reviewed, and what's being asked of the public kind of to weigh in on. And then further down in that webpage, there's kind of status updates. So today I just put in a status update about the second reading happening today, and then the effective date being 90 days out. That's going to stay as a live reference website until that June 18th date that it becomes effective. So that's available for the public if they need to get caught up on things or just get refamiliarized with the documents. But then, the road department has a whole other suite of
So as the projects are being worked on, planned, delivered, come to our website, deschutes.org/road. We have a project tab, and you can see what we're working on.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And we send out updates weekly, every Friday. There's a road construction update, and those are included in some of those. So.
Yeah, and occasionally, other people host a podcast, and I'll go on their podcast and talk about it, and
people in Eugene listening.
Just bring it back to that.
We're just going to bring it all the way back. Well, Chris, Tarik, thank you so much for explaining this. Congratulations on all the work that you did.
Oh, thank you.
And getting this through. Congratulations to the work you're about to do, Chris, because that's going to be a lot. So I know that both of you will surely be keeping us up to speed so that we can let everybody else know.
Most definitely.
If you want to find out more information about the TSP, you can go to the community development website. That's deschutes.org/CDD. If you have questions or want to find out about the projects that are being worked on, you can go to the road department website. That's deschutes.org/road. If you have a question or ideas for this podcast, you can email us at info@deschutes.org. Remember to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to your podcast. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, you name it. You can also find us on our website, deschutes.org/podcast. Until next time, we really hope you're safe out there.